All right, you thought I could do this show alone, but clearly I cannot. So back with me is my colleague, our co-anchor and executive producer, Mary Gamba. We're joined by our friend and colleague, Lori Roth, global managing partner at Prager Metis, CPAs. Good to see you, Lori.
Good to see you too.
You got it. Hey, Lori, do this for us. We have done a tremendous amount of work together with the emerging leaders at Prager Metis in our coaching business. Define what an emerging leader is and what we expect of those leaders moving forward, because the bar is pretty darn high.
It is. So we really try to define our future leaders, our emerging leaders, as people who not just have potential, but who will take advantage of the opportunity put in front of them. And part of that opportunity is the training and the conference that we do together, because I really think that's an investment in their future and in ours as well, because as they develop and grow and become strong, educated, and intentional leaders, then we all benefit.
And leadership development, not an option, I'll do it or not do it. It's a necessity, is it not?
I believe it is if you're going to succeed. I think that, it's an option. You can choose not to do it. You can choose not to be on that path, but you're not going to get there. That's for sure. So I really do think that it's important to focus on being the best leader that you can be and your own personal development in order to develop professionally.
Mary, as I'm listening to Lori, I'm thinking about some of the people over the years who, when they're told, listen, we're going to provide you leadership coaching, they'll say, no, I don't need it.
Nope, I'm good. I've arrived. And Steve, and Lori knows, Steve and I share a brain after 25 years. And I was going to jump in and say, Lori, how do you...
My part of the brain is getting smaller, but go ahead.
How do you gently encourage those people on your team who are resistant to, not your team, I'm saying like you universal,
any team.
Right? Any team. How does a leader on any team, because we have coached people at a variety of organizations, and Steve always loves to say, it's not how they come in, it's how they leave. And Steve has a pretty good batting average. They come in resistant and then they leave and they're like, wow, I really learned a lot. But how do you encourage those leaders of the benefits of that coaching who are really just, they've got their walls up and they think, I've arrived and I don't need this?
Right. I would challenge you to think it's not necessarily that they think they've arrived. I think it's an insecurity. I think they might view it as something that is, I don't want to say remedial, but something that is saying, in the old days, you had a tutor if you were struggling and you needed a tutor. Do you know what I mean? Now the best students have tutors in order to do even better than they can do. I think the people that are resistant are looking at as there's something wrong with me and I need to you're telling me there's something wrong with me and it needs to be improved rather than seeing it as an opportunity. So how do you deal with that? I think you have to illustrate the opportunity. You have to let them know, I think, that this is an investment that we're making in them and in the firm because we believe in them. And if they don't and believe in themselves enough to take that opportunity, then they're not the right people.
Well said. Do this for us. Explain to us first what private equity is, and then private equity vis-a-vis a firm like yours.
Sure. So private equity has been around for a long time. It's basically a capital investment into a number of different areas, either into a company, into an industry, things like that. So when you hear about private equity in our industry at this point, it's an industry that a lot of private equity companies want to get into. It's a good business. It's a strong business. It's an industry that is, I don't know if you want to call it a necessary evil, but it's something that everyone needs. I think they're not, accounting firms aren't going anywhere. Advisory firms become more and more valuable and more important as time goes on. So in our industry right now, it is the path that the industry is going in. There's been a large capital investments in a lot of different firms. And I think that it's raising the value of the firms. And it's, again, another really big opportunity for firms that are looking to embrace it rather than fight it.
And Lori's talking about trends. Mary, let's see how much of a brain we share. Were you going to ask about AI and accounting?
I was. I love it. I really was. Well, because there were two things. When she was talking about that, and I was, the need to pivot, be agile, and we all have to grow and we can't resist. And then once she started talking about, all right, we need to embrace this, I'm like, we got to go to AI. So Steve, I'll throw it back to you.
No, Mary, pick it up because
I'll pick it up then. No, I'm happy to pick it up. So, Lori, we have been, and it's so funny, maybe we'll start calling it like Lessons in Leadership: the future of artificial intelligence in leadership. And would love to get your perspective, in particular, how AI is, or how you perceive it will be, impacting the work that you do at Prager Metis and the work that your team does.
Sure. So AI is here. It's here to stay. It's a phenomenal thing. I think it is. It's really incredible. I mean, if you think backwards to other major changes that have happened in the world, in our industry, in our professional lives, this is among the largest, right? I mean, you think about the World Wide Web, and originally people only used it to like connect to people, or AOL was the original thing. We said, how is this ever going to get used in business? And then the World Wide Web grew and expanded, and we rely on it in our everyday life, I think, from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to sleep. And I think AI will become the same thing. I think it's already very, very impactful just in the power of the intelligence and its ability to learn and to continue. I think that what's going to happen is it's going to impact us, our industry, the business world, every aspect of our lives in terms of, I think, taking over for things that will allow us to upskill people. In other words, it's not going to replace people. I think you're still going to need the human touch, the human thought process. That's the way AI learns, is from the human thought process. So you still need that component even when you're utilizing AI. But the advantage that it'll give you is to be able to process large volumes of data so quickly. It'll allow you to think outside the box and use your abilities in an advisory capacity, and in the places where it's going to need the human experience and the human knowledge and education. But it'll take away the things that might be dragging us down, that it'll be able to do quicker and faster. And it'll actually probably point us in more directions that we don't necessarily open our minds to, because I think it's going to be able to identify opportunities maybe even faster than we are.
One quick follow-up on this last question. One of the things that, and Lori, we've had so many conversations about this offline and other settings, particularly in our leadership development, that building relationships, establishing relationships, AI is not going to replace that. And it's been a big part of your professional life. You're one of the top, in terms of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, one of our partners. What role do you have there right now? Because I remember when you joined and you quickly moved to one of the highest levels from an advisory point of view. What role do you have there?
Currently, I'm the vice chair of the board of trustees, but I'm the incoming chairperson of the board.
Yeah.
Starting in, yeah.
I'm the incoming chair. Okay. So, and to Michelle Sekirker and our friends, we say thank you for being our partners. Here's what I'm getting at. AI can't replace relationship building trust in this way, and the personal side of it. How intentional, I stole that word from Mary. It was her favorite word in 2024.
That was so 2024.
Yes, 2024. How intentional have you been, and do you continue to be in your relationship building?
I think that's key to everything. I really do. Even in the use and the integration of AI, it has to be based on our relationships to figure out the right way to do it, right? You can Google something, and it can have an AI search. It'll show you that AI is coming up with the answer. It can be wrong as much as it can be right. Without the personal side of it, looking at it to be able to determine if it's right or wrong, you don't have anything. And the same thing with your relationships. I mean, that's the key to everything, is those relationships. That's what's going to bring the opportunities. That's going to help us to integrate the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is just that. It's a tool. And we have to make sure that we use it that way, and that we use it to expand the opportunities by taking some things off of our plates that give us the opportunity to be able to use our time in a better way.
And building relationships and other things. Lori Roth is Global Managing Partner at Prager Metis. Lori, thank you once again for joining us. We appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
You got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.